What's saying, baby?
Baby.
It's time for me to regulate for sure and observe. And
For the honeys, man.
we got to show these motherfuckers what's up, though. This is for the honeys, still super soft. I don't want
I wanna be your man. I wanna be your nigga.
let them know you fucking with niggas that's insecure. Water down, my shit is pure. Write down my number, but double call me to be sure. Back just trying to relocate between your legs, dripping with
Mango!
Yo.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Yo, y'all are getting some exclusive shit right now. This is the first ever face-off here on Sparring Minds. You already know who I am, man. It's Charlie Hustle, a.k.a. Charles Jones.
You already know. It's the chef, Mr. Main Topic. It's the author and the chef today.
You already know, man. You already know. You already know. This is the frying pan and the pen, baby. We both cooking up here. It's about to get crazy.
Shout out to the brothers, Little Hightower. You know what I'm saying? You know, a couple of things going on, but you know, we hold it down today.
Life gets in the way, but we're gonna keep pushing. You did?
Right. As usual, it's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. And hopefully we get in on, you know, through the middle of the show. So that'll work out. Work itself out.
Yeah.
Before we get busy, I want to say RIP to my pops. Today's his birthday. Would have been 66. Legendary. I mean, you know, when we leave this earth, I mean, you know, we both got kids. You know what I mean? So I think what we try to do is, you know, leave the best, lasting, entrenched image of positivity, strength, guidance, loyalty. We try to leave all that to them, right? And my pops did a good job with that, man. So I, you know,
amazing.
Absolutely. Bless up to him. I know a lot of African American males in our age range didn't grow up with their pops in the crib. I was fortunate enough that he was there, provided. So, you know, definitely miss him, and you know, I know he's gonna save a seat for me up there when, you know, when the card games break out. So RIP to him. Also, you know, you already know who we came in on. It's Pac's birthday today as well. You know what I mean?
Word up.
The absolute GOAT of rap.
Right. How ironic is that? I think that's pretty ill that your pops and Pac have the same born day, and Pac is your favorite artist ever. So that's pretty. It kind of all makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? Kind of all makes sense now, and I definitely understand that, man. So rest in peace. Rest in peace to Big Papa, and rest in peace to Pac, man. Legends, both legends.
Yeah,
both legendary.
Absolutely. And speaking of Pac, right? We was gonna talk about 2 weeks ago, maybe been a little bit longer. We was talking about how Pac was down in Atlanta shooting shit up with them cops down there, right?
Beat the case, by the way.
Absolutely.
Beat the case.
And that brings up what we see happening again in current events with another officer-related death, this time in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. So let me give you some of the details, man. I know we've been talking about it offline.
Yep.
But so what's happened down there is, and I'm going to paraphrase it and just throw in some small tidbits from the story that I saw. But there was a brother, and just off the top of my head, I forgot his last name, but first name was Rashad, I believe, right?
Rashad Brooks, is it?
Okay, and I'll double check the facts. As a matter of fact, let me double check that now and make sure I pay the proper respect. You dig?
Yeah.
It is Rashad Brooks down in Atlanta. He was 27.
Okay.
And so he was down in Atlanta, and so what happened here was a case where he was obviously drinking, and it was in the evening. They didn't say what time at least from the research that I did, but it was an evening time down in Atlanta. He fell asleep behind the wheel in a Wendy's drive-thru.
Yeah.
Now, from the video I saw, there are multiple cars behind him. So this is incredible in and of itself. I've never, you know, I don't even know how that would happen, or what kind of alcohol it would take. You know, for you to just fall asleep in the middle of a drive-thru, it's kind of crazy. But you know, the Wendy's staff did what any staff at any place would do, right? They call the cops to kind of, hey, yo, can you come in and kind of help out with the situation, right? Actually, let me back up. I wonder if the Wendy's staff should have gone out there and kind of said, hey, listen, can you move to the side? I don't know. We'll talk about that, I guess, right?
Your first instance in that case is to call the police, right? Because I'm just saying, no, you're dealing with someone who obviously, if they fell asleep, they could be a little drunk, a little belligerent. You don't know how. So now, listen, I'm at Wendy's. I'm a high school guy. I'm at Wendy's. I don't know if I'm ready to risk my job or life, whatever, running up on somebody's car. Like, yo, could you keep it moving? You know what I'm saying? Listen, let the authority figures kind of handle that situation out. So they weren't wrong in that aspect of doing that. That's just doing due diligence. You know what I mean? Trying to be a hero or not. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense in that case.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. I guess I just have a hard time reaching out to the police. I don't know what's going to come of those situations.
Right? No. I understand.
So,
Yeah.
But
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about your first instance is to call the police, right?
Right.
But obviously, we're dealing with different times when you're like, and that's crazy that you're thinking that like, yo, should I call the police? Well, who the fuck else are you gonna call? In a situation like that, you know what I mean? Like, that's
but
nuts.
The fact that you have to second guess that is fucking bananas.
Right. Like, yo, should I call the police? Who again? Can't call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, word up.
You know what I mean? Like, so, oh shit, man.
So, and in no way is Sparring Minds blaming the Wendy's staff. Like, we're not doing that. Like, you guys have done what you thought was in the best interest of the entire situation. So, shout out to you guys. So the Wendy's staff ends up calling the cops. They send down 2 white officers. And, I guess from the news reports that I've heard, for the first 20 minutes of the conversation, it was all cordial. It was all, hey, this is what's going on, bro. I don't know if you really recognize this is what's happening, right? And so even Rashad went as far as to say, this is actually got this on camera. He said, hey, listen, to resolve this situation, I can walk to my sister's house. She's like 2 blocks away. My kid's over there, and I can lock the car up, leave it parked on the side, and I can come back and get her tomorrow if that'll make you guys happy. I just don't want no problems here, And then they said, well, no, we need you to consent to a breathalyzer test.
Wow.
And so, he was trying to, he recognized, this is a situation, right? This, with these cops, let me try to offer a peaceful way to get out of this thing. I know I fucked up, right? But let me try to just get out of this, which, depending on your viewpoint, that could have been an amicable solution, right? Because I've seen cops say, yo, just park the car, come back and get it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Come back and get
it. Definitely, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the whole point of when they put you in the lockup for the night. That's what the point of that is, right? It's so you can sleep the alcohol off, be sobered up, go back and get your car the next day. That's the point of that, right?
Yeah.
So now, was he going to go to his sister's house? Did his sister really live there? Those are things I couldn't tell you, right? He could have just been a hustler trying to get out of the situation. Who knows? But so we get to the point where the cops have said this to him. They want him to take the breathalyzer. He takes it, fails, right? Because obviously he was drunk. So they said, all right, we're going to take you downtown. To get him down on the ground, he resists arrest. We'll talk about that. He fights his way out of this situation of him being on the ground, right? In the midst of fighting his way out of this, he also takes the cop's taser. We'll talk about that also, right? Takes the cop's taser, starts running away. The cop has another taser, I guess, right? He's fully loaded with these Batman utility belt full of tasers, right? So he takes out another taser, busts a shot at Rashad from about 10 feet away. And I'm just telling you what I saw in the video. About 10 feet away.
I mean, real quick. Was it one cop or 2 cops?
There were 2 cops on the scene.
So that could have been other cops' taser.
Absolutely could have been. Good catch there. So they bust a shot at him with the first taser. They miss. Rashad turns back around, shoots with the taser that he has in his hand. Now he's shooting all reckless because, of course, my nigga is drunk, right? So he's shooting up in the air, and you can clearly see this in the video, right? Again, now that's now we're at a point where
Come
okay.
on, cuz. I just knocked my fucking mic down. You know what I mean? Like reacting to, yo, listen.
It's like,
Chris
come on,
Rock, as Chris
brother.
Rock once said, I love black people, but I hate
Black people.
You know, we're not gonna say the word he's talking about, but okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he busts back with the taser. Now, of course, at this point, the cop has said, enough of this shit. He drops the taser that he has in his hand, pulls out the 9,
Yeah.
busts 3 shots, hit him in the back twice. Right? R.I.P. This is a tragic event. We wish it didn't happen. We wish there was an amicable way to resolve this and get that man either time to detox or get him home with his family or whatever. There was a better solution, however you picture that. We wish that would have happened. But what did happen is interesting, I guess, Maine, because listen. You guys know me for multiple weeks. I'm no champion of the police. Like that's not who I am, right? But in this case, right, my nigga has been resisting arrest. First off, you publicly intoxicated, right? That's first off. Now you're resisting arrest. Now you stolen their taser. Now you start their taser at them. None of this deserves death. And I don't even want to use the word but. However, you kind of get what you're planning for.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Because you resisting arrest, you wrestled down with them, you took their taser, and you fired at them. And again, in that scenario, again, and I'm no advocate for the police either. I'm not saying that either. But it's tough to justify something like this, speaking out and for what we see, unless there's more stuff to this case that I'm missing or we're missing, we're not aware of. But just of what we've talked about so far, I mean, we could easily say, yeah, he should have shot him in the leg, he shouldn't have killed him. But it's easy to say all of this when we're simply from the outside looking in,
right,
and we're not in the heat of that moment.
Sure.
And it's just it's hard to say in that moment as a police officer, black, white, whatever, what you would do if someone is resisting arrest, wrestled you, or whatever the case may be, and then forget all that. Took a taser, whatever the case may be, something, and fired it at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fired it at you. So this is going past of just taking this or just wrestling from them just to run away. You turned around with the intent to do something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You weren't successful with it. But like, it's tense on both sides because of so many things that's going on in this country right now with black men and police officers, or just stuff with police officers in general.
Yeah.
And so as much as we feel the way we do, we got to think they feel a certain way too. And whatever, fuck their feelings. But at the end of the day, these people still want to go home to their families, which is the job they sign up for, whatever the case may be. It comes with a price sometimes. But in these situations, what are you supposed to do? Like, let's just say Rashad happened to wrestle away this man's gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just, thank God it was the taser. If it was the gun, he's in a belligerent state. We can't sit here and say, oh, he wouldn't have shot the police. He wouldn't have shot him. He would have.
Yeah.
If he would have had the gun. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm all for the movement and everything. But just sometimes, again, we still have to look at it in situations like this from both sides based on just some of the facts. I think we're all just on high alert because of everything that's going on.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying this man's death was justified, but it's just like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. I
You know what I
think
mean?
you hit the nail on the head there when you said that we're all on high alert, right?
Right.
So, what I don't want to do is tie Rashawn's death to Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I think it's two different avenues, and I think we dilute racial injustice. We dilute mistreatment of a people based on their skin color. We dilute that conversation when we
Yeah.
add in a case of a man who's drunk, being belligerent, resisted arrest, shot at the cops with a taser. When you add that to the mix, you dilute the sincerity of what we're talking about. Because
It's a
Black
fact.
Lives Matter is built upon the oppression of innocent black people who are being
Right.
judged and executed and mistreated based on nothing but their skin color. That's the key to Black Lives Matter. What this guy has gotten himself into is a whole different set of circumstances,
Yeah.
all on his own. So while we don't want to just disregard his death because that would be crazy, right? Um, you know, this is not tied to Black Lives Matter, and we're at Sparring Minds. At least Charles Jones. I don't want to speak for you, Mano, but I'm not going to pretend that this is a Black Lives Matter issue.
No. Listen. I'm in agreement with you because it's hard. It's really hard to, again, in the grand scheme of things, looking at everything and based on what we have learned so far, it's tough to sit here and say that this man was just wrongly executed. This wasn't Breonna Taylor. This wasn't George Floyd. This wasn't those kinds of situations. So it's a slightly different. But again, you're in Atlanta, predominantly Black people are on high alert, and it's people aren't rationalizing all this right now. It's just reacted and going on. You know, again, I'm going to do some more homework on this because I would love to learn more about this. But again, just based on what we know, it's tough. So for the listeners out there, if there's something that we're missing or something, please let us know. Please in the comments, talk and let us know if there's some things that we're missing regarding this. But just based on what we said, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's really tough. So
definitely tough. Let me hit on three things of that kind of surround this story, and then we'll move on because we're not going to spend the whole episode on this. But I think it did warrant a conversation at the very least.
Yeah, of course.
So one of the side stories of this is that the police chief Erica Shields resigned immediately after this. Let me give you some background on Erica Shields. Now, Erica Shields is a white woman, first off, right? Second off, Erica Shields, to her credit, walked with protesters after the George Floyd death, right?
Okay.
So whether she stand up or not, I couldn't tell you. She's showing some signs of frustration with the process, frustration with what's happening in today's current climate.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know if I want to give her kudos yet for stepping away because it could be you know what I mean? It could be like, oh, let me distance myself from this bullshit.
Yeah,
could be. And the last thing about Erica is that, and I'm gonna read the quote. When she resigned, and let me say this also, there were some reverends in Atlanta who were pushing for her to get fired. So did she resign before that happened? We don't know. But let's say she resigned based on her own pure frustration. Let's just say that.
Pressure, yeah.
Conversation, right? So Erica said in a quote, she said, "I have faith in the mayor, and it's time for the city to move forward and build trust between the law enforcement and the communities they serve."
Wow.
Subsequently, a Black man took her job as police chief, at least on an interim basis. You and I have talked offline about Black communities needing Black figures, Black people from, who understand our ilk to come in and help quell the tide, right? Like, that's where the connect is going to be. Is a Black officer who understands the neighborhood. He's the guy that you really need to bring in to kind of help piece this thing together. So the Erica part of this kind of is a little bit interesting to me. You know what I mean? Just a white chief, and I found it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely interesting. That's definitely a part that I wasn't expecting on here. It's, I mean, first time hearing about this. It's interesting. I guess we'll know more in the coming weeks whether there's some sort of hidden agenda from her, or whether no, this is just the way she feels, and she sees that there's something wrong, and there's things that need to be fixed. Because again, whether you're white or black, you can still understand problems are problems, and there's things that need to happen to be changed. You know what I'm saying? Any type of decent human being, regardless, is going to look at it and say, listen, no, this is just not right, period, regardless of how you look. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Kudos to her.
We'll stay tuned to Erica. The last two pieces on this story, man, and I'll do them both together so we can kind of get past this here. The officer who shot and killed Rashad was fired off the gate, right? Fired him. Probably a knee-jerk reaction, but that's just me giving my opinion, right? That's just, we'll see. We'll see how that plays itself out. But because you fired him with no investigation, I guess there's enough on the camera to warrant the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. So that's fine, right? So he's fired. The partner's placed on administration leave with pay. The officer who killed him is now possibly facing criminal charges. Okay, that makes sense if you shot a man in the back, right? That's fine by me, I guess. You know what kind of tightens me up a little bit about it, man, is that this is something where shooting him was. Listen, I get he's a villain in this story.
Yeah.
Rashad's a villain in this story, right? But had he gotten away on foot, right? You have his car, his registration, his license. You know who he is. You know where where he lives.
You easily get a hold of him. Yeah.
I'm going to grab you, bro. Send a unit over there. We're gonna go bring you in. It didn't have to result in a murder. I guess that's where I'm kind of like.
No. I mean, I definitely agree with that. But again, shit got different once. Not just the resistance came, but once you took the weapon. Yeah. You took the taser, and again, it's just it's hard to say in that moment how you react to just in the dark. Whatever the case may be, of just seeing someone shooting something at you.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, we can sit here and say, yo, he should have shot him in the leg, or whatever the case may be. And again, I'm not saying this man should have gotten killed, but I'm saying it's just tough to make. Again, unless there's something I missed, then please post in the comments. The good people that watch, the show, and just let us know what we're missing, because when you're doing your job, again, you want to go home to your family too at the end of the day. And again, this wasn't like George Floyd. This wasn't like Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner. There's plenty of situations where this just wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just think with everybody on high alert, with everything that's going on now in the country and the world, and even with just stuff with the police officers. So yeah, of course they're going to fire. And we're not even going to have that. Nope, out of here. We're going to get rid of that right now. We're going to cut that tie off right now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like whether who's to say it was justified or not, but it's tough.
Tough case all around. So y'all hit us in the comments, man, and let us know what y'all think about it. I mean, like my brother Maine said, if there's some things we're missing, definitely inform us, man, because we want to stick to. But we'll get back to that. We'll deal with that again. Maybe once we have the whole group together, we'll touch on that some more.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it up. So we had the rap tournament was bubbling again the other day, and we had Cream obviously docked off Reminisce. So Cream will move on. I don't want to say Cream is overrated. Not overrated. So we'll see when it faces off some heavy competition later on.
There's no way Cream is overrated. Nothing about that record is overrated. I'm not even sure how you could fix it. How could you say Cream is overrated? Like there was T-shirts done over, and I mean that was just a saying. That was a worldwide saying. That was a saying. That just wasn't East Coast saying. That was Cream was.
So we're talking about marketing versus the quality of the record, right?
No, the record was
So what you just heard is Maine and I agree that Cream was overrated.
Cream is
And
absolutely not overrated. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever seen Wu-Tang American Saga?
yes, this shit is classic, brother.
Okay. All right. It's
Oh,
okay. Cool.
it's
I
so
was about to
incredible.
I was ready to PNC you for a
No,
second there, but
no, not at all. Not at all. I'm waiting for season 2.
right.
And from what
So
I
my thing is,
read,
that
the coronavirus is delaying the shooting of that.
Jesus, no
So you don't
surprise.
know. You don't know when it's gonna drop.
Fucking COVID, man. Fucking COVID.
Ruining lives out here. That fucking COVID is.
Definitely.
And then in the other matchup, we had Outcasts going against each other, which I don't like. But what can you do about that sometimes, in these brackets? Southern Playalistic actually destroyed Rosa Parks. And
Which is
that was
insane. That
that
was insane.
no, that's exactly how it should have been.
No way.
Fucking man.
No way. No way. Destroy it?
Yeah.
Just destroy it.
Yeah.
No way. Because what are we talking about? What is it are we exactly talking about when we're talking about, especially those two songs in particular, right? Because the bigger record was Rosa Parks. If you're talking about sales and people will say, oh, it was a radio song. Well, it was the first single from the album, so of course,
Yeah.
it was a big record also because it was just some backlash that has caught between Rosa Parks or Peoples and all that kind of stuff kind of went on about that record. While Southern Playalistic is a dope record, do not get it twisted. Because again, Outkast is in my favorite groups of all times.
Yeah.
Outkast,
Absolutely.
top 5, and you could arguably say they're the top 3.
I got them in top 3. Yeah, I got them top 3.
For me, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, what are we talking about when we're judging those records? Are we just saying what's lyrically is a better song, or like I'm not sure how we're saying that. So what do you think?
I think at the end of the day, right? Like, no bozo's gonna be here and tell you that Rosa Parks the song was trash. Nobody's gonna say that. What I'm gonna tell you is that while Rosa Parks was a legendary radio smash and it has the sales to back it, right? Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music, right? That song defined hip hop at the peak of hip hop. You see what I'm saying? That song dropped in '96 when the best hip hop of all time was coming out. You see what I'm saying? Like everything that was coming out in that time frame was legendary, and Southern Playalistic was in that same conversation. Whereas Rosa Parks came out at a time where rap was run by maybe 4 or 5 individuals. Southern Playalistic is a staple. It's when if an alien came here tomorrow and said, "Can you help me define hip hop?" You play Southern Playalistic kind of like music.
Get the fuck, yo, please. The first of all,
what are we talking about? Why is this a debate? This ain't a debate.
So let me ask you this real quick. Is Southern Playalistic a better record than Players Ball?
I got them neck and neck.
Jesus Christ.
I got them neck and neck.
Wow.
Players Ball is so incredible because, and I'm big on double entendres, right? Players Ball, most people have no idea what the song is talking about. You see what I'm saying? It's really just them celebrating Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the ball that they have in Atlanta for the Christmas time celebration. Most people don't even know what that is, right? But the song disguises that in a way. It's just the song's a fucking classic. It's top 20 all time.
What? Southern Playalistic?
Players Ball. Players Ball. And Southern Playalistic is probably top 25. They're in the same conversation. Rosa
for
Parks
Outkast or for songs, period?
Period.
Gee.
Man, cut this shit out, dog.
Where does Rosa Parks rank? So Rosa Parks is not. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know about Rosa Parks. I think it's 75-ish. It's up to, it's obviously a great record. I don't see it as a top 25 ever. Nah.
But Southern Playalistic is.
And Players Ball. Both of them are. Easily. Come on, man.
But then in this same conversation, you sit here and tell me Cream is overrated. Are you outside your mind?
Yeah, Cream is overrated.
What?
Cream is overrated.
What?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, if you're gonna do it based on marketing, we're doing it based on marketing and the Wu-Tang logo, then I guess. But
oh, stop it! Stop it!
Obviously, y'all.
We ain't talking about the '90s. Stop it!
Y'all can jump in the comments. Let Maine know that you agree with me so that he can get off my back. I think that's the best way to go about it. Is let the people kind of tell you, nah, man, like you can be wrong sometimes, and that's okay too.
No, listen, we all can be wrong sometimes, Playboy. You already know.
Yeah, but not about this, brother. Like,
this is crazy.
This is as close to a fact as this is gonna get.
Okay, all right, we'll see. Like I said, although Cream is the #1 overall seed, though.
It got problems next round.
Overrated.
It got problems next round, though. Watch this.
It's overrated.
It's gonna run into Southern Playalistic, and then we're gonna have problems.
Easy, Cream easy. That's Cream easy. As Murder Mook would say, easy.
Make sure y'all get out there and vote, man. We gotta
vote for next round. This is gonna be interesting.
You was gonna educate me, brother. So you was gonna talk to me a little bit about your show, Insecure. Now you don't send my wife out of here running and screaming mad because of the whole spoiler. Now she's salty about it. So educate
Queen B,
I'm
sorry, Queen B. I'm sorry. I know you a loyalist, and I assume it's Tuesday. I assume that you already saw it, so I shouldn't have been talking too loud. But I'm just trying to get my brother on the same page with me, so we can actually have a intellectual conversation about it, so that he knows exactly what is going on. You know what I mean?
Hit me to it.
So it was the season finale. The season finale this past Sunday. And it's been a very interesting season. A lot of ups and downs, friendships and stuff like that, love and all that. So the season finale, kind of towards the end of it.
Spoiler alert.
Right. You should have already started at this point. I usually don't do this, but you usually start at this point. So, Lawrence and Issa have rekindled and have pretty much come back to full circle. They're both different people right now in this point in their lives. They had a date recently where they kind of talked about things that happened in the past, went wrong, talking about cheating, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, next episode kind of comes back and they're full circle back in. Back. So, the end of the season, though, Lawrence has to come to Issa with probably one of the worst things that a man has to come to a woman with, depending on the nature of their relationship at the time. It's not the best news that you always have to say, but he has to come to Issa, who he just rekindled with, and let her know that he's gotten his ex pregnant. Now, his ex is a lady named Condola on the show. And ironically, Issa and Condola actually worked together business-wise on the block party, which was maybe episode 7 or 8, whatever the case may be. This block party Issa had been working off.
I remember y'all talking about that.
For community and stuff like that. So she worked with the lady, Condola, and then kind of found out through the midst of that Condola was messing with her ex, which is a whole other crazy thing. It makes any work situation kind of awkward. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But Lawrence has to confess to Issa that he has got Condola pregnant. And at the same time, he just got a new job. You know what I mean? So he's about to move to San Francisco. They both saying how, we're going to make this work. We want it to work. And, then he has to give her that news. You know what I'm saying? And in the season finale, it kind of shows a split screen of him talking to Issa, right? And then it's kind of flipping back to when he got the information from Condola about her being pregnant. So, and you could just look in his face when he's delivering the news. Like I said, like it's just one of the hardest things he probably ever had to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just like, how does this happen? The timing and everything. And you know, you kind of can tell that he's not really with her keeping it. But then she kind of, you know, says, you know, you don't have nothing to do with this baby. And you kind of could be in the baby's life at your own discretion, like at your own leisure. Like whenever you kind of feel like it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to assume all this responsibility. You know, this is my time. I want it. You know. So I guess to flip it, because we're guys in this situation, you know what I mean? As a man, would you be able to stay with someone you consider your soulmate? Right? Because that's how Lawrence and Issa felt, right? But I have to add that sauce on top of it because this ain't just, this is not just a, you know, hit and quit it, like we don't have any type of history. So there's serious history there. And it's going to be tough on both. But again, if this is your soulmate and you want it to work, you know, could you be able to accept the fact that your first child is not with this person, it's with someone else?
Oh my God.
I got to add all this sauce on top of it, bro. I can't just, you know what I mean? Can't no chasers. So how would you handle that, Capo?
So one of the key parts of this story is that, at least we were talking about it in the break, is that they weren't together during the conception of this pregnancy.
Nope,
right?
They were not together.
And I think that's the biggest part of this story. That's the biggest reason why you may be able to make some kind of acceptance here, right? Because how many times do we say, okay, well, what happened before us doesn't necessarily matter now. What we do now and how we move forward is what we can define a relationship after, right? We've talked about that 100 times. So let me answer your question. Could I be with her? Soulmate. And I hate that you use that word because that put me in a corner. I'm going to say, I don't even want to say yes, Billy. I don't want to say it. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Man, that's some fuck shit, dog. Because so many of my rules go against that, right?
Right. But I had to add the extra sauce onto it because it's not just, nothing about the situation is it's not a normal situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just I guess the timing of it, everything is like the biggest thing in it. But
I'll tell you what,
bro.
Hold on a second. Hold that thought. Let me bring my brother in.
Okay. Hey.
Yo.
What's good, King?
Yo.
As y'all can see, we brought our brother Anthony Hightower back into the loop here.
Oh man.
What's good, King?
Schoolwork, man. I'll be glad when this class is over with, man, for being completely honest.
I can dig it, man. I can dig it. You got to keep striving, though. We got goals to reach, right?
Sure, for sure.
Right.
Maine was just hipping me to some of these spectacular events in the last Insecure episode.
Ooh.
And he's painted me into a corner here by asking me, could I be with my soulmate knowing that she's recently pregnant by someone else? And like I say, I think the biggest the boldest word he used in this conversation was soulmate. Because if he used any other word to describe this woman, I would have said no, get her the fuck out of here, right? But when you use the soulmate, I immediately picture my wife, right? I immediately picture Faye, and I kind of wonder what I wouldn't do, or maybe in this case, what I would do to be with her. The problem is this: you have, based on what you was talking about, man, these bitches work together. You got baby mama drama from day one. You see what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, well, the thing is, you shouldn't, right? Because he never cheated on Issa with her.
shit.
So there's there's really no, and again, like, how it happened. If you ever want to go back to the root of it, it's probably Issa's own friends that kind of watched this happen and didn't really say nothing to her until after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, that's the thing that was like a little wrong there. But I mean, like, just based on the 4 seasons, it seems like Issa and Lawrence are soulmates, or at least, I mean, that's the dynamic I get from them. Or if it isn't soulmates, it's something pretty close to it. You know what I mean? Because the most recent date they had about 2 exes that clearly still care for each other. You know what I'm saying? And again, the situation with Condola wasn't while this was going on. This kind of just happened. These are just freak occurrences.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? With the timing of it and everything. Like, there's nobody really did anything wrong here. I mean, I guess you could say him not wrapping up with Condola. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he couldn't have foresaw her getting preggo either, in the timing of which he just accepts a new job. Like, this shit was so much to unpack.
That's another one of the things that you get the fuck out of here. So you mentioned also off stage, you said that he just got a legendary job in San Fran.
Yeah, he did. He's got a new gig gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Hey, jump in here, man. We double dutch. Jump in.
Listen. I'm thinking about just recapping about what I watched, man, because that was a heavy one, man, and I felt for Lawrence in that instant, because he's at the crossroads where he finally kind of got things in order, and then he got derailed again with the news of, you know, Condola, and being a stand-up guy like he is, that's going to weigh on his mental, because he's not the type to be like, all right, well, I'm out of here. He's going to be the type to stay and try to figure that out. But now he's he's dealing with trying to be a father to a child that he wasn't expecting, versus rekindling an old flame that he's probably been thinking about for quite some time. So he was probably looking to settle down and get this started with Issa, and now that's derailed again.
Let me ask this: what's the relationship? And man, you didn't touch on this, so I'm curious. What's the relationship between he and the baby's mother?
Just a rebound, I think.
So she wasn't even some chick that he was really feeling like that. It was just a
well,
yeah. I think
he was feeling her.
He was feeling her more than she was feeling him.
Yeah, because he was the rebound. He was the rebound to her, but she thought it was more than that.
Right, because I think he showed up to an event. He showed up to a Friendsgiving event. He kind of invited himself to it. She didn't really invite him. You know what I'm saying? So it seemed like he was a little more into her than she was into him.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because she just got divorced. You know what I'm saying? She was just married, just got divorced. You know what I mean? So, right. But this is why, my brother, if you watch it, then we could just sit here and we could all be talking, and you would know exactly what's going on.
This shit is spectacular.
4 seasons.
So let me ask this. Boy, this brings up a lot of questions, dog. Like, so.
Right.
You got to watch it, man.
You gotta watch it, bro.
I think my wife's going to make me fucking binge watch it. She's been on my ass about it.
It's all over now.
You ain't going to get no dinner unless you watch Insecure. So now I'm out here eating cereal and shit trying to get right. So, I might end up. Let me ask this.
Perfect time.
is this dude, man, I can hear the women now. Chuck don't know shit. This is why I don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
Is this dude a villain to ask her not to have the baby?
He tried that.
Yep, he did.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Here we go. All right, so what happened?
He actually tried that.
So what he said?
You know what happened? The Kimbe Mutombo.
No. Shit.
Okay. She had that Detroit Pistons 2004 defense. Okay, going on. No.
Yeah.
She said no.
No to the point of it's non-negotiable, or no to the point where maybe after a few more conversations, it's possible. Did you get the feel that it was stonewalled?
I got the feeling that it was stonewalled. And I say that because according to her, she wasn't ready for children when she was married.
Yep, I was about to say.
And I think that's
bullshit.
Well, that's because the relationship wasn't where it needed to be.
But now you have no relationship.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's where it's tricky, because maybe she's like, this might be the only chance I get.
That's bullshit, man.
And it wasn't because, and I think if Lawrence wasn't Lawrence and he was some random dude, maybe she'd be more apt to not do it. But I think because she knew how good of a dude he was.
Know what he's about.
Yeah, exactly. And even still, she was like, I'm not looking for nothing. You can be as involved as you want. But she knows him, and he's going to be involved.
Right. That's why when she said that, I was like, yeah, that's BS.
Yeah.
That's BS.
And if he was single, it changes the whole dynamic, because he would just get back with her. But I think he essentially broke her heart. She broke his heart.
Wait. So does she want them to be together?
She didn't. She made it. She gave the impression that he was just kind of the rebound post marriage or post divorce.
Yeah, that's such bullshit, dog. That she went into that relationship with him saying, "Listen, no strings attached. I don't want nothing concrete. I just want to fuck." She went into that saying those things. You dig?
No, she didn't go into it saying that.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't. She left some of that out there. She didn't. Yeah. She probably didn't think that he was gonna be on some, I want more than this.
Yeah, because usually it's not that way.
What happened?
Yeah, usually it's the woman saying, "I want more." Right. Where are we? And this time it was him, and she was like, "Oh, wait a minute.
Yep,
that's not what this is."
Yo, but that's what I guess that's my point. Is you can't say, well, these new broads nowadays can get away with anything. You can't say on one hand, I don't want more than what this is. You understand what I'm saying? And then the next sentence be like, also, for the next 25 years, you're committed to me, whether we're in a relationship or not. It can't be both ways. Where's the logic in that?
No, it can't be both ways. You're right.
Yeah.
That's outrageous to me, man. I can't see how y'all are not outraged by that. This is a no-win situation. You see what I'm saying? Like, he went into this thinking, this is just some sex. I'm going to fuck this bitch a couple times and move on about my way, right? And then she's like, yeah, I co-sign that. I don't want anything long-term. I don't, whatever. Cool, even better, right? Now she's pregnant. Oh, sorry, by the way, all that shit I said before, didn't really mean that. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's why you need to watch the show, dog.
Yeah, you got to see.
Watch it even more. Now I'm more upset.
You got to see what led up to all that, man. You got to see what led up to all that.
Yo, yeah, right, bro. You got to see what led up to it, man. You got to see what led up to it. I think how you feel right now, and I get it, but I absolutely think that if you knew everything up to this point, you still would feel, you still might feel a way, because I understand, but you might look at it slightly different, maybe, if you saw everything that kind of led up to it.
These chicks are incredible, man.
But it's funny because coming out of last week's episode, or the week before this one, I was telling Wifey, I was like, she's not trying to get back with him. I think she got some serious news, because otherwise you can say what you're going to say over text. You can't say, "Oh, I'm pregnant" over text. You need to speak to that person in person to convey that news. So when I heard it, I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised.
It puts a man in a situation where he's just finally getting ready to move back on with his life, because y'all said he's real happy to be with Issa or whatever. Yeah. He's already, get ready to start in that direction. You put that nigga in a no-win spot. You dig? Because what's he gonna say? Either what is she gonna accept as, what's the chick's name again? The baby mother?
Condola.
Would Condola accept him back in the relationship form? Probably. Probably to help with the child, to kind of build that bond. I would imagine she would.
Of course she would.
Right?
Yeah, so, she would.
Yeah,
I think she would too.
So now you put him in a spot where he's deciding what his future is right now, based on information that has changed on him. That's the part that gets me. Men, we're so rigid, right? We're very much, we have a plan. This is what it is. We're going to follow that plan. And then you start moving the hallway. It's like, we don't know which way we're going. You can't move the hallway. You can't say in one breath, you can have as much involvement as you want. I'll handle this. I didn't really want a concrete relationship. Those are the worst parameters in which to have a child. What are we talking about?
Right.
What are we talking about?
No, absolutely. No, it's definitely. That's what I mean. Like, it's just one of those situations where, it's a TV show, but I'm like, damn, I feel bad for this brother's character. Like, it's a lot to deal with. Like, right now, again, when you feel like, yo, everything is just right now. Like, everything is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we rekindle. I got this new gig. We're going to make this shit work. And then, but that's the curveball of life, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Life will throw you a fucking curveball when all you are doing is driving down the highway straight. And all of a sudden, you be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, throw you some curveball shit, bro. Like, that shit, like, the timing of that shit was just, but you got time to binge watch, my brother.
That's definitely how you end it. That's definitely how you end the season, though. That's definitely how you end the season.
I think what this harkens, really, fellas, I think this harkens the conversation of how much input, opinion, value is the man's word when it comes time for pregnancies. You see what I'm saying? Why is the man's word not valued when it comes to the option of keeping a child and helping develop that foundation in a way that he agrees is right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the case where if his word was valued, we'd have the conversation. And while you may think this, the overall foundation is not strong because I don't think this. And then conversely, we make a decision based on that. Because, women, at the end of the day, her word is going to be rock solid bond, right? In this decision, but it affects multiple lives. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a man's word has to count for something in that conversation. Fuck you with that it's her body shit. I don't give a fuck about that. It affects my life for the next 25 years minimum. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta have a say. I gotta have a say. And not only a say, but a say that means something. Because if I just have a say, I'm gonna look like an asshole. You see what I'm saying? If I'm like, nah, you shouldn't have this. Okay, I heard your say. Now fuck you because you don't want. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
My say has to mean something in the final result. And I'm not an asshole for saying, you know what? You was just some box for a Friday night. You're not really baby mother wife material. You dig what I'm saying? I believe if men had that.
I don't know.
I won't say that.
Why?
If we talking about Condola, if we talking about the character in hand in this situation, I won't say that. Because no. I mean, she's a nice looking woman, so that's not the case right there. And she has her shit together, and
yep.
So we're not gonna treat her like that.
If she was all of what you just described to me, right? Then why wasn't he with her? Why is he going back to East in the first place?
She broke up with him.
She broke up with him, but remember, she was just married. She was married prior to him. That's
so phrases like, be clear on that. Yeah. So phrases like this, Chuck. You know, due to some unforeseen circumstances, you get divorced. How soon are you getting back in the game? Dating game, or you just smash and pass?
Yeah, that's exactly what I am. I
so then that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't make a permanent decision to have a child. You know what I'm saying? That's a permanent decision. Me being isolated and saying I'm only smashing passing for the rest of my life, that's an isolated Charles Jones situation.
Of course.
That's between me and the women I'm fucking.
This is where it gets down to gender, because men can have kids at any point. Women can't.
Yeah, but see, you have to, as the woman, Charles, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. As a woman, if that, see, and this is where you niggas don't have conversations up front, and y'all be like, Chuck, you talk too much in the beginning. I need to know that if we fucking, and if by some crazy chance you get pregnant, it's not a path we're taking, right? We need to have that conversation. But my niggas here have always told me since episode 1, no, Chuck, you can't ask questions like that. You look like a square. You don't do that. So I say, okay. And now you find yourself in a situation fucking some chick who got totally different plans, putting holes and rubbers and shit. Because like y'all said in the show, oh, he's a good dude. I know he gonna be here. I know he gonna provide. You see what I'm saying? So now they out here setting this nigga up just because he's a good ass dude. When all the agreement was in the beginning was, let's fuck. Now we're turning into some other old shit. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, but to be clear, the women who do that, and I'm gonna sound like a jerk, but the women who tend to do that stereotypically don't usually have their game tight. Condola's the exception. She can take care of this kid by herself and not necessarily look for the handout or the trap or whatever. You see what I mean?
You do sound like a jerk, brother. That's
There's no good way to say it, man. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
If you know, you know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I don't know, man. I think this is a case where I feel like, now again, I'm not as vested as you guys in the show, but I feel like this is an episode or a character who's been hustled, who's been kind of led astray and not given all of her intentions up front. You know what I mean? I think
it happened to him twice.
That he got somebody pregnant?
No, that he'd been led astray twice. You used to do it to him first.
Yeah.
See, you see what I'm saying? Now there's some dudes who's just a glutton for punishment. There's some dudes who just, suckers for love, and they fall into these situations. You see what I'm saying?
Cuz was at a bad point. He was at a rough point in his life when that happened too, though. Height. You know what I'm saying? So, to give him, not to just dump down on him, but he was definitely at a bad place in his life right there. So, kind of a victim of circumstances in this situation.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Listen, at the end of the day, if she told him it's about box, that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't change the game.
I mean, you got some brothers that, okay, so let's just keep this real though. You got some brothers that just only want the relationship or only know that way.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And like, nah, listen, I know you said one thing, but I'm gonna change you.
Here's what I'll say about that. At the end of the day, because what we're talking about here is not necessarily the relationship. We're talking about the result of sex, right? In terms of pregnancy. That's what we're talking about here, right? That's what makes this stand out. At the end of the day, even if the fella has gone through this and he's this sucker for love and he's like, I'm going to change you, he's that type of dude, and let's say she gets pregnant, at the end of the day, she still has the option to say, nah, fuck you, I'm off this. My nigga here never gets that option. He is directly tied to whatever decision she makes. Directly tied. He has no repercussion, nothing he can do after she makes a decision. She has every option, regardless of that man's intentions. She has every option of getting out of that. This is why, for y'all listening, this is why I don't watch that bum ass show.
No, stop it.
You gotta watch it, man.
So get Insecure the fuck out.
Gotta watch it, bro. Gotta watch it, man. It's a good one.
So yeah, we'll keep it. So that's the season finale. We're not expecting season 5 anytime soon, I imagine.
Nah. And in that case, I don't know if I ever answered, but I would stay in that situation.
Yeah.
I don't remember answering that, but I just, it's like tough, not the ideal situation, but you know what I mean? Like, nah, couldn't do that. I would have to stay. So.
Yeah, you staying?
Oh, hell yeah.
You said that pretty quick, brother.
Well, let me back it up.
You can take a moment to think about some shit. Jesus, nigga.
I might have heard one thing and not what I should have heard. So you're asking if I would have stayed with Condola, or would I? What's the question? Let me just back it up. What's the question?
Yeah, Maine is different.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. No. Well, I guess for us, it would be phrased a little bit different, whatever the case may be. But I guess we're using the situation like if we're the man in that situation, like in the woman's place or whatever, in Issa's place, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, would you stay with someone in a relationship? Right. So we kind of, because we couldn't use it from the angle of,
raise someone else's kid.
We switched it, reversed it, and said, as the man, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Would you stay with a woman who's recently and currently pregnant?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's,
Not by someone she was with during a time in which y'all weren't together, because none of this happened on your watch.
Right.
None of this happened on your watch. This is the same scenario, except, you know what I mean? Like, we just flipped it a little bit.
I mean, it would come down to, I guess, who that woman is. Like,
no, that's important because May said it's your soulmate.
It's your soulmate.
That's why that's important.
It's your soulmate. No, this isn't just freaking yin yang twins, nigga. Nah, this is your soulmate, brother.
That makes that shit tricky.
If it's my soulmate, then yeah, I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna ride that out. But like Chuck said when I came on, the soulmate is the difference maker.
Yeah, it is.
Because you only get one, so you know what I mean.
Oh my God!
You're lucky if you get two.
Right. Yeah, right. It's very rare. And I mean, just based on the 4 seasons right now, and based on what we've saw, I mean, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but I feel like Issa and Lawrence, that's what they define that part, because that part of their last date when they went out, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the conversation they had, that was like a real shit that we all can picture we've had before. You know what I'm saying? With someone that we were, you know what I mean? So yeah, and you get some truths out, you get some things out you may not have wanted to hear, and you know what I mean, when you're in different places in your life at that point, you know what I'm saying? So, it's good, man. But Chuck, you got plenty of time to catch up, dog. Catch up, Chuck.
Yeah.
Capo, catch up.
I don't know about that, brother.
It's only 4 seasons.
Yeah.
10 episodes each. The episode's only 30 minutes. You good?
Right. Not hour long. You know what I mean? Make up for not watching SOA again. You know what I'm saying? I
want to watch SOA. I keep telling y'all that, man. Yo, she legit like banned that shit from the house. Like,
listen, you can knock
killed like that.
You can knock Insecure out in the weekend, brother.
Definitely, absolutely.
If I wanted to,
it's not an hour-long episode. Come on, man.
Yeah, get out there on your patio, brother, with the wife. She'll appreciate it.
By the pool, yeah, we'll see. We'll figure something out.
Oh man.
So speaking of life in Florida, obviously, NBA season's getting ready to bubble up here. With the 22-team invitational. and Maine and I were talking a little bit earlier, Height, about Kyrie and his stance, basically saying that the NBA restart takes away from the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's basically what he's saying in a nutshell, right? And then Perkins, and not only Perkins, but Matt Barnes as well, are both saying, bro, nobody's listening to Kyrie, shut the fuck up, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess, Kyrie also made a mention of starting our own league as Black athletes, which is incredible in and of its own right, and certainly something up for discussion. But so does Kyrie have a point where starting up a basketball league acts as a deterrent or a detriment or a takeaway or a negative towards how the Black Lives Matter movement is going so far?
Is it a negative? No. Would it deter? Yes. And because it deters doesn't necessarily make it a negative. I think with this whole pandemic, everyone's been, laser focused on whatever else is going on in the news. So this would definitely take the attention away and kind of put people, in a relaxed mode, like, oh, finally I got something to do during my off time or when I'm not, you know what I mean? Like this gives them something to look forward to. Because I guess outside of that, there's really nothing else going on. So I'm torn on it because, yeah, you can do your activism, 9 to 5, but then what do you do in the evening? Because, the revolution doesn't stop, I guess, or doesn't sleep. But you have to be able to balance, your work and your play. And I'm torn. Like, I get it, and it makes sense. And, I wasn't for the league coming back anyway, regardless of, the activism, because I just feel like if you bring this one back, you're interfering with the next one. And this is essentially the summertime where they get to relax in summer league and onboard new players and all this other stuff. So if you adjust this, then you're adjusting league, you're adjusting the season for the rest of the life of its, inception. So that's why I didn't like it. But I get where Kyrie's coming from, and I can only imagine if he framed it in a certain way or if he positioned it in a certain way where folks weren't losing money or folks were recouping, I think more people would be apt to fall back because not everyone's got that type of money like him to just fall back. And he wasn't playing anyway, so he's kind of an outlier. But, his money kind of talks for him where he can be like, I can sit back for the rest of the year. I don't need the paycheck for eight weeks worth of playing ball, but you got some players that rely on it, which is a whole separate subject because when you're making that kind of money, you shouldn't be living check to check. But we could talk about that another time. But I'm with him in the sense that it would deter, but the fan of me, would like to see it, but not under these circumstances.
Maine?
Yeah, on one hand, and my brother Noah, he said this. He said you should just look at the message and not focus on the messenger. You know what I'm saying? And in some instances, I agree with that statement. This just, I'm just a little bit hesitant to kind of understand Kyrie's take on this when he's never really had a social stand, or I've never saw him take this kind of action before. And there's been things that happened prior to this that I don't recall him ever having a stand on or speaking on, or even when Colin Kaepernick was going, I just don't remember Kyrie ever having that moment. So it's just hard for me to look at that part and be like, is it 100% genuine? You know what I mean? The Players League would obviously be dope. You know what I mean? But let's just be realistic. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? And you know, again, you know, a lot of guys, man, want to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like the situation basketball coming back will solely take away from everything that's going on. I feel like because now people have really just had enough. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it's just, there's no way that this just gets swept under the rug with basketball solely being back. You know what I mean? I just don't think that. And again, I just, you know, if this had come from someone different, you know what I mean, I might be like, okay, cool. LeBron, he spoke up on social issues before. There's been other players that have spoke up on social issues before. But Kyrie, you know, like I said, I would love to see more. You know what I mean? Like, if that's how he feels, like, yo, you know, sit out next season. Donate your check to the cause. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these are the methods you're trying to implement, I would just like to see you take it a step further. You know what I'm saying, than just saying this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many bad things going on in the world. It's like, yo, we need like something to like feel some type of joy from. And sports provide that. Thank God the verses have been happening because that's kind of helped out with people. And nobody's like, yo, them doing the verses, that's taken away from the black. No, it's providing joy. It's providing something else other than the shit you're seeing all the time on TV and stuff like that. It's giving you something positive to look at to make you feel good about. So why not sports? You know what I mean? It's not like they can take away from these guys still supporting Black Lives Matter. I'm sure LeBron and there'll be other players that will be making stances and doing things during these times. So it'll be on notice. Just won't get swept under the rug. So sorry.
But see, to piggyback on what Main's saying, like if this is Kyrie's stance, why won't the league get behind him to find some sort of compromise where it's like, okay, we're all going to come back, but now if we come back, let's take some revenue and let's put it towards these causes. Because I think that may, I don't want to say diminish, but that may slightly alter the decision from Kyrie where it's like, okay, I can live with that. You know what I mean? But if it's going to be just the player versus, you know, to play versus to not play, the league at some point needs to come in and say, how can we make this work? And if it's going to come from money, then they got it, use it. You know what I mean? So you pay the players, they're happy. You put some funds and resources to, you know, BLM, and you know, I think everyone kind of wins in that situation.
So let me touch on a couple of different things here, because there are a lot of points made that I want to make sure I address. The first is your last point about Kyrie talking with the league, right? So Kyrie, in this instance, is not representing the National Basketball Players Association. He's not representing them. Kyrie's representing a quote-unquote Black Lives Matters initiative. I'm sure that's not the name of it. That's what it is, right? And this group is made up of certain NBA players. It's made up of certain WNBA players, and it's made up of entertainers and actors. That's who this group of initially 40, now 100 people are made up of, right? So this is not a players versus league thing, right? This is a group of concerned Black citizens talking to a basketball league, right? So we have to look at that, make sure we understand that from that standpoint, so that the league doesn't have to do shit, right? That's what we are. They're not dealing with this is not a labor negotiation they're having with Kyrie. This is Kyrie coming in with his opinion as a Black man and hoping that they listen to him. That's what this is, right? He's hoping that he has enough star power.
He's a part of the Players Association, though. I believe
he's the vice president, I believe. Yeah,
the vice president. So he's a part of the Players Association.
Right, but in this conversation, at least with the conference calls that he's held, it's not representing the Players Association, even though he has that title. Good, thank you for making that part clear. He's not. He's working as a separate entity in this. So how the league wants to negotiate or talk or have those conversations is a separate kind of conversation. So let me jump back to something else. Maine, part of your problem with this situation is that Kyrie is a first-time speaker of social justice or social issues.
To my knowledge, I've never heard Kyrie in the past before.
Which is fine, but what better
issues.
time than now, right?
Yep.
So
No,
if he wasn't
part
speaking,
two.
yeah, if he wasn't speaking, we'd be cooking him, pan-searing him, no oil, saying, yo, Kyrie, speak up. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're the leader of the Brooklyn Nets. Say something. That's what we'd be saying, right?
No, he's not. But go ahead.
Definitely.
We'll talk about that soon on who leads the
Brooklyn Nets.
No
way.
But we'd be saying, yo, Kyrie, say something. Now he's saying something. We're saying, oh, nigga, we don't want to listen to you because you never said nothing before. It can't be both ways. Yep. So I'm glad that he's saying something now during a very turbulent time. I'm going to embrace it. His message is sound. He's not just talking. He's not on the earth is flat shit. He's on some real sound conversation for once. So I'm okay with that. Like I'm open to hearing that, and I'm open to the idea that he's actually partnered with a lot of entertainers, a lot of other people of his ilk, millionaires, who have voices that can speak on this kind of thing. Like, I'm all for that. So I won't knock him for that at all. I think it's a good thing. Another point, and this goes to Kyrie's original point. So we all know that the news cycle is 24 hours now. When we were coming up as kids, the news cycle was about 16 hours, right? You remember when you went to sleep at night and TV turned off? Like, we remember that. We're old enough to remember that. A lot of kids y'all ain't old enough to remember that shit. We remember at 11 o'clock, the TV went off and didn't come back on until 7 in the morning. Here's why that's important. Because now the news cycle is so intense that when you take away hours and focus on talking sports, you are no longer talking about Black Lives Matter. So that's Kyrie's main point here, is we're talking about everything else, and that just takes away from the time that we could be talking about Black Lives Matter. And again, that's a point I can get behind.
Bro,
talk to me if you know.
Content is everywhere. I mean, I get people watch the news, but everybody has smartphones. You can see content about the news all over on your smartphone. Let's say if you miss it on TV, doesn't mean you're gonna miss it altogether. I mean, again, I see both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's a really important time in the country. Again, I wouldn't be mad if sports didn't come back on, because I understand the nature of just everything that we're dealing with. But you know what I mean? There's still a fight to be fought, and I don't feel like sports is gonna just take away from that.
The core of this argument has always been, we need to get our message out. We need to alert the world as to what's going on. We need to flood the news cycle. And now that we're finally flooding the news cycle, we're like, well, let's dilute it a little bit by adding some sports back into it. Why? We're finally flooding the news cycle. We'll finally have the all eyes on us. Y'all remember that little phrase I just used right there. We finally have all eyes on us, and we're going to sacrifice it because sports fans like us are like, oh, my Friday nights, I'm missing my games. Come on, man. If these dudes are sacrificing, we as fans got to sacrifice too. You see what I'm saying? So I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that.
Are these guys getting paid?
Well, last point I had. That goes to Ed Davis. Ed Davis was a former Portland Trailblazer. I'm not sure where he is now. I know you're a big fan of his, right, man?
UNC.
Excuse me?
You're a big fan of Ed Davis, ain't you?
Ed Davis?
Ed Davis. I thought you were a big fan of his. Yeah.
Ed Davis?
Okay. Well, he used to play in Portland. I'm not sure where he is now. NBA player.
UNC, I believe.
But Ed Davis has gone on record and said, tell Kyrie to knock it off. Kyrie got a contract for $100 and something million. You see what I'm saying? But so he got room to kind of say he'll take a couple paychecks off. A lot of NBA players don't got the negotiation, the wiggle room to be like, we'll take a couple paychecks off. And Ed Davis was claiming to be one of those kind of players where, you know.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, but that's only making himself look foolish, because he's been in the league a long time. So he should have amassed enough money to where he can afford to sit out.
Maybe, but how is that? That's not really relevant to his current state. How he got to his current state is one thing. But the fact that he's in his current state and Kyrie's not going to allow him to fix that can be viewed a certain way.
I mean, we all lead our own destiny, man. You can't blame your situation on Kyrie when you've been in the league 10 years.
No, but dig it this way. If we all made $100 a show for Sparring Minds, right? And then, out of the blue, I said, you know what? We're not making Sparring Minds no more. Like, I'm tired of it. We're taking my attention away from my books. I need to go back to what I do. Fuck Sparring Minds, right? If I said that, we all made money off of Sparring Minds, and now I'm directly the cause of you no longer making money because of my opinions. You see what I'm saying? And because, not that this is a real life case, but because my star shines brighter, like with Kyrie versus Ed Davis, niggas are more likely to listen to what I have to say. That's just true, right? Like, Kyrie's a star. Ed Davis is just some nigga that you don't even know who I'm talking about a minute ago. You see what I'm saying? So because his star shines brighter, it's like, all right, yeah, fuck you. I don't care what you have to say. Meanwhile, you're not getting anything. You're not getting no money from this. I can understand Ed Davis's point. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What? I didn't say nothing crazy, did I? Yo, I didn't say nothing crazy this time. Fuck y'all. I didn't. So,
listen,
yeah.
It still goes back to the mismanagement of funds.
No, it can't go back to that.
It does.
Look, I have an opportunity to continue my career and continue to make my money, but you're standing in my way.
I see both sides. I mean, I can't just sway one way more than the other. You know what I'm saying? I see both sides of it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I've just never heard Kyrie speak about it. So again, like I said, I would love to see something follow up. You know what I mean? Like now it's talk that he's saying, he wants guys to get their own league, black players from their own league. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
guys have said that in the past. Larry Johnson said that in the past. A lot of guys said that in the past. It's like you said, there's no money there for that.
It's not happening. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but it's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be clear on that. So
I would love that. I think it would be incredible. But
him,
I think that they would have to get TV deals, stadiums. There's a lot of things that cost a lot of bread.
Right.
That 95% of the players in the league couldn't affect. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it's a pipe dream. I think it's one that I would love to see happen, but it won't happen in our lifetime.
So hold on a sec before we move on. I just looked it up.
Okay.
And Ed Davis is estimated to have earned about 20+ million.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
In his career.
Actually,
and he's still playing.
Yeah, that sounds a little low, doesn't it?
That's low.
Okay.
I mean, it's close to the 40. It's close to the 40, but that's still that's factoring in this season and next season.
Okay.
So I just kind of
role player.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made that kind of money as a role player, and you complain about your pockets now? Come on.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna listen. I haven't touched $1 million yet.
But it's not that, dog. It's not that. It's not what he's done in the past. And I know you live by a certain creed, which is stack your bread, make sure you write so that you don't run into problems in the future. Ed might be supporting 5 other households. I don't know what Ed's pockets look like. I can't speak for Ed's pockets. I can only speak to the fact of the logic that Ed is saying, okay, don't worry, I can recoup next season because I got another $5 million coming in. Kyrie's now stopping that next $5 million. Because Kyrie, who, by the way, like one of y'all pointed out, he's not even fucking playing this year. You're not making no sacrifice, my nigga. You wasn't out injured anyways. You see what I'm saying? So, meanwhile, Ed Davis, who was on one of those 22 teams going to Orlando,
Utah,
now can't make that break. See,
he's on Utah?
He's in Utah. And they're going to the playoffs.
So now does it change?
Can't make that break.
Does it change the narrative if he was on Charlotte?
Yes.
Or Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
It changes the narrative for me. Because we're talking about Ed's ability to make money. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
At Charlotte, Atlanta, they're not in the 22-team tournament. They're not going to be paid regardless. Doesn't matter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But Ed had the opportunity to bring in another $5 million. But now Kyrie's trying to step that shit in the bud. Nah, brother, knock it off. You got bread stacked. Don't worry, I get it. Your contract was 5 times as big as mine. Well, come over here and start that shit, man. Let me go make my money.
Yeah.
So, obviously that's not necessarily NBA on the hardwood, but it's what's circling around the NBA, which made us bring that up in the first place. I think it was a good conversation. Friday, fellas, versus. What are we doing? Now, first off, this is breaking news. We haven't even discussed this, right? We haven't even said what we're doing. So are we doing something?
I think we should. Why not?
I would hope.
So in case y'all haven't tuned in, in case y'all haven't been dialed into Instagram over the last couple of days, there's a new versus battle that's been locked in for Friday night. Is that Friday night, fellas? I believe.
Friday night, Juneteenth.
The incomparable Alicia Keys versus the amazing John Legend.
He's incomparable too.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
I don't know if he's incomparable.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, he's a step under incomparable. Nonetheless, Sparring Minds will be tuned in. And I think we're going to get an atmosphere of piano keys and fedoras is really what I'm feeling from this one.
All right.
So I'm not sure what time that starts, but what we'll do for the listeners, I think we'll do a episode an hour in advance. So if you've tuned into some of our verses in the past, we've just broadcast the verses battle and that was it. But I think and I'm just freestyling, so like y'all can see the faces of my partners right now. They're like, "What's Chuck doing right now?" Right? So I think what we'll do is we'll just like give y'all an episode in advance, like just. We're going to do an episode based on a topic, and we're going to do one of our regular shows, and that will lead up to the verses as opposed to us just broadcasting the verses because I know, like, I really get the feeling that y'all really want to hear us talk rather than, battle. So we'll do something like that. We'll keep you updated.
No, they just want to hear me and Maine talk.
Definitely. Nah, we a nice little pre-show into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Perfect for Friday night. It's Juneteenth. It's a really good matchup. I see I've been looking online. A lot of people are like kind of downplaying it, like it's not a good matchup. Like, musically, again, when you talk about albums, and then when you talk about features, like the songs that they can play that they're in the hooks for are incredible. So this is going to be a goodie, and this is the first man versus woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is dope. This is dope. This is dope on so many levels.
What are we predicting in terms of numbers for this one?
I'd say about 3.
Okay. Man, you saying about 3?
3 what?
300,000.
300,000.
Oh, yeah, at the bare minimum.
Really?
At the bare minimum.
Ooh, minimum. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time Jermaine has reached on one of our shows. I'm sure it won't be the last.
How was Jill and Erica?
I mean, you can't compare Jill and Erica to these two.
I'm just.
Okay. I think they might have hit 5.
Yeah, they was in the 5, low 5s, weren't they? 5 and a quarter.
So you're trying to say 8 keys and them can't at least do 3 at the bare minimum?
No, I think this is gonna be 275, 280. Yeah, it's gonna be in the 280.
Two different demographics, man.
It's the genre.
It's the genre, yeah.
Type of music. It's gonna be in the 280s.
Because Alicia started here, and she may have stayed here for some people, but she may have come down for a lot of others.
Nigga, I haven't heard from Alicia in a decade.
Well, that's on you. She's
What has
been
she
putting out
done?
heat.
She's done something.
Again.
Yeah, she's been putting out music, but the caliber is different when you compare them to Jill and Erica.
Right. We need some more. I'm just saying catalogs. Both have Jill and John have catalogs.
It's gonna be a good eat.
They have big records.
Yeah.
Let's not lose sight of that. They have big records. 3. I'm going to go out on a limb. Fuck it.
Sparring Minds. Thanks you for tuning in. This is another incredible opportunity to talk with my brothers about some topics that have been burning in us. So we appreciate y'all rocking out with us for a little while. We don't have Little with us to give Amir time up.
Where's he at? He's on the road?
Yeah, I can see it. You know, like I said, life came up. I'm not sure what happened, but you know, keep him in our prayers, and you know,
All right.
hope all is well. So I'm gonna get us out of here unless y'all got some closing notes.
Yeah, we can get out of here, man. I gotta get back to the schoolwork.
Nah, man. Versus. Tune in for the verses. Like I said, but check us out. Check our live show out before the verses. Like I said, the verses are gonna start around 8 something. Our live should be jumping off around 7, so we'll at least have an hour or so at the bare minimum to give y'all going into the verses.
And not only that, DJ Payne gonna rock with us again live on Friday.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a great opportunity to kind of collab with a legendary talent like that. So yeah, y'all stay tuned in, man. We're gonna have some fun around here, man. So we appreciate y'all rocking with us, man.
Yeah, for
Sparring
sure.
Minds, baby.
2016, Tupac brought us in. Alexa, play All Eyes on Me by Tupac.
What did y'all come in with?
Rather be your.
All eyes on me. Roll up in the club. All eyes on me.
Damn, Height, you not feeling Pac, man?
Go, baby, to go.
Come on, guys.
I bet you got it. You don't know who to trust. So many playing hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the bump, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the
I picked a better song, but it's all right.
Well, are you still down, nigga? Holler when you see me. But if they finally